This episode is brought to you by The Guarantors. Facing rising renter fraud? Don't let fraudulent applications compromise your financial stability. The Guarantors provide a safety net that protects your rent roll and minimizes bad debt. Why risk it? Talk to The Guarantors and secure your property's financial health. Visit theguarantors.com/multifamily today. I found an interesting quote today, and I want to start by welcoming everybody to the Multifamily Collective, but I want to read this quote. It came out of a book that was written by two last names, Rosen and Brown. It's called Leading People. It's on page 283, in case you care to buy the book and know exactly where I got this from. It says, I bet on the jockey, never on the horse. I don't need to know what industry the company is in or what its financials are. All I need to know is what kind of person the CEO is. And really what this boiled down to, I pulled this out of another book that made reference to this particular quote that was pulled out of the Rosen and Brown book. It really boils down to character. I think what this individual or what these individuals are communicating is that it doesn't matter what the business is, right? Probably some things that are important as it relates to that, but what really matters at the end of the day, when you're thinking about a company that is going to be successful in the marketplace, you're thinking about the character of the CEO. And as goes the character of the CEO, as goes the company, as goes sourcing and hiring, as goes marketing, as goes human resource, as goes shared services, as goes in our world today, organizational design that is more pointy in nature in terms of job descriptions and things of that nature. In other words, the character of the CEO sort of trickles down through the organization and influences people in a very specific way. If you have a CEO that is a bad character, right? You could argue that the gentleman that started Uber, these are stories that I've read, so I don't know the gentleman and I'm not making judgment or passing judgment, but some of the stories that I've read would suggest that there was a character issue there. And as such, Uber started to veer off in a direction that wasn't good for drivers, for passengers, for shareholders. And they had to shift gears and they had to remove him and put a new CEO in. And as such, the organization started to steer in a direction that seemed to be good for drivers, good for passengers, good for shareholders. And you could see it very clearly in that dynamic where you had somebody that had questionable character versus somebody that had great character. One could argue, and I'm not sure I subscribe to this argument, but one could argue that the character of the first individual really got the company on its footing and got the company going in the direction of being successful, but did so to the detriment of the people that work there, to the detriment of some of the drivers in the ecosystem, and really probably tore apart some health and welfare of that person, right? Some could argue that that's the way you get companies off the ground. You have to have a hard driving, really hardcore CEO, hardcore entrepreneur, hardcore founder to get it done. But maybe there are other ways that you can build companies that aren't so corrosive in nature in terms of toxic character and the toxic character that sort of bleeds through the organization in actions and behavior. So all that being said, it is incumbent upon all of us to exercise really good character in your organization. And so if you're out looking for money, you're out looking for investors, you're out looking for individuals to come to work for your company, it really is the CEO's character that people are going to pay attention to as opposed to the business that you're in necessarily. All right. Take care. We'll talk to you again soon.